I think one of the biggest things that we drive home is to balance your blood sugar throughout the day and figure out how long you can go between meals. I always like to say 3 to 4 hours between meals. Eat not less, but less often. So eating more, less often, and allowing your body a decent amount of time where your digestion can settle and you can go between meals feeling very satisfied and not always thinking about, I'm not full.
Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jenn Trepeck, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. Hey friend, welcome back to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm Jenn Trepeck, your host and health coach, here with you every week for Wellness Without the Weirdness. And as it's mid-December, you may be feeling ready for some rest from the holidays and, those end-of-year deadlines, and potentially you're even thinking about 2026. What grand commitments are you planning to make in the new year? So maybe you're thinking about all those things, and today's guest is really the perfect person to talk with us about building connection and community with wellness in mind, and offer her insights into what's really required to live our best lives. So let me introduce you. For most of her life, she struggled with gut issues, acid reflux, and inflammation. By the time she was 18, she had multiple colonoscopies and endoscopies with no telling results. She trekked back and forth from doctors who ordered her to take every prescription under the sun to cure her symptoms. As a young professional, things got worse. Her career was fueled by late-night client dinners and not enough sleep. Any of us can relate, right? One day, on a lark, she decided to do a cleanse and immediately took notice of how food affected her. Fed up with suffering every day, she visited an acupuncturist. Within minutes, the acupuncturist discovered she had candida and recommended a holistic nutritionist. Within 2 weeks, she tossed the prescription meds. Within 6 weeks, she started sleeping soundly, and her body became leaner with no inflammation simmering under the skin. She was inspired to get her certification from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. As a full-time working mother, she became a certified holistic nutrition coach on the side. It was truly her calling to help others realize their health potential. She left her corporate job, and in 2016, her company, as we know it today, was born. She knows firsthand what it's like to experience a complete transformation when you prioritize your health, which informs how she teaches women and men about the powerful connection between nutrition and well-being. Please give a warm salad with a side of fries. Welcome to Sarah Wragge.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I feel like since our first chat, we're so aligned, and I've really been looking forward to this.
Me too. I'm excited. This is not my typical way to kick off a Monday, so let's go.
Love it. All right, so we'll start with a little more of your story after we tell our members what they're getting this week. So friends, join us in the Happy Healthy Hub. Being a member of the Hub is the next best thing to working with me as your health coach. You get a recipe each week delivered right to your inbox, curated articles and additional discounts from me and our partners. You get interview episodes like this one in full video with behind-the-scenes content, a community with the ability to post and comment on others' posts, plus access to the 24/7 AMA, which is Ask Me Anything, to target your specific questions or challenges. You can upvote others' questions, see past Q&As, and so much more. All of this is yours for just $12 a month, or prepay the whole year, you get 2 months free. So your recipe this week is for roasted cauliflower with kale. So it's surprisingly simple. If you're not the biggest fan of kale, I think this one might show you how to do it so that maybe you're willing to play with it a little. It also has golden raisins in there, so it's a little sweet, a little savory, all the things. And then you can pair it with your favorite protein. Bring this to any dinner. It is sure to impress. So for this recipe, plus this episode in full video, access to our community chat, the 24/7 Ask Me Anything, you'll go to asaladwithasideofFries.com/membership. From there, you'll click subscribe now, follow the prompts to enter your payment info, and create your login to access the hub. All of your benefits and more. Remember, you're going to asaladwithasideofFries.com/membership. This supports your health and this show so we can keep doing this together. Okay, Sarah, we heard a lot of your story in introducing you, but before you founded Sarah Wragge Wellness, your full-time job was in advertising. And, even your experience as a child kind of informs all this work, all the things you do today. So how did it all really come together in terms of, what you learned in advertising and what you've been doing with Sarah Wragge Wellness?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think that connection with anybody is probably the common thread here. In order to have a successful business or have successful relationships, it's all about how do you connect with people. And so typically for all of us, and I work with a lot of executives and a lot of busy business, traveling folks, and everything happens over dinner and drinks or happy hour and appetizers. And so, that was the connection for me for many, many years. And as soon as I sort of set out on my health journey and I started to feel good when I wasn't doing those things, that connection no longer worked. And I needed to shift how I connected with people. And so I started bringing people into my world of fitness and wellness, whether it was taking them to Soul Cycle classes. So in 2011, Soul Cycle was really growing. It was building its name, especially the Union Square location. And instead of taking people with my fancy corporate card to dinners, I was like, I'm going to book you a bike. And so one turned into 10, turned into 15 and 20. And all of a sudden I was booking out like Stacey Griffith's 7:30 Soul Cycle class. And for me, it almost felt like this is too good to be true. I've got all the people that I need to network in this room. They all feel empowered instead of hungover when they leave. I was getting my workout in. My company was paying for it also, which that was great. And then slowly these relationships just really changed. They were empowered. I felt good. They started bringing me business. I was writing nutrition plans. I had already gone back to school at this point and really just gotten so wrapped around the entire lifestyle. And so I took that model and literally started a business with it. And it really wasn't until 4 or 5 years later, because I sort of had this idea of, okay, well, I'm in advertising and I'm supposed to do this and I'm making money doing this. And this is what I've studied. And, how would I ever like change careers? And so I started it off on the side. And then I think what started to happen was I started to get really healthy. I started to get really clear headed. And the way that I connected with people could no longer go back to steaks and martinis and going out. And I wasn't into hangovers anymore and staying up late. So I just sort of, in honor of who I was kind of becoming, I'm like, I'm going to bring them to my side. And then the business really launched that way.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, there's so many similarities in our stories of starting on the side and, also
Yeah.
even in advertising and marketing and all that stuff. And I want to double click on what you said at the beginning, which was that overall, it's about how we connect.
Uh-huh.
And what you were describing of steaks and martinis and happy hours and all that stuff is really what I think, no matter what we do for a living, is what everybody's doing right now at this time of year. And so what are some of the insights that you can share with us from that approach to help us all, this time
Get
of
through the
year
holiday.
and next year? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and maybe even start to connect with people in a different way.
Right. Absolutely. I was just in Los Angeles last week and I was talking to my dear friend and she's like, everyone's doing coffee now. Like coffee's the thing as opposed to grab a drink. And the coffee bars and the coffee rituals are just exploding in Los Angeles because people have gotten wind that, getting smashed and being hungover is just not like, I think less and less people want to do that now. I also just think your mentality and your approach to the holidays is everything. It's just like anything in life, right? If you think to yourself, like here we are, I'm going to go through the holidays, I'm going to gain my normal 10 pounds, or I'm going to January 1, the diet starts and I'm going to be walking into this new year bloated and feeling tired and sluggish, and then I'm going to start something. I think that's the biggest misconception, is that it's some big like, ta-da. It starts in the smallest, littlest moments and those smallest, littlest choices. And wake up and have your water, alkalize your body, protein as your first meal. Do a workout that's 20 minutes long because that doesn't seem at all intimidating. And I think that needs to be the mindset going in. I think about this a lot with my family. So I have two kids. My son Christian is 9 and Winnie is 4.5. And a lot of times I'm like, okay, it's Saturday. I don't have any work. Let's be a family and let's go have fun. And I plan something out and I'm like, we're going to go to American Dream Mall and we're going to go to Nickelodeon and we're going to get lunch. And I've got this whole plan in my head. And what happens? People are tired. Nobody slept well. We get there and they're in a bad mood. The lines are long. When really, like, instead of planning some big to do, choose small moments where, you know what? We all did sleep well last night. Let's just go for a walk. Let's bring some snacks and make a picnic at the park. Like, it's very simple. Or, you know what? I really want my kids to start eating better. I'm going to have them start to cook dinner with me on Sunday nights. And what's fun is they're into it and they're like, oh, what are we cooking tonight? It's those little micro moments that matter so much more than I'm going to do all this. I'm going to get away with all this stuff over the holidays. I'm going to overdrink. I'm going to wake up not feeling great. I'm going to maybe skip some workouts. And then Gen 1, I start.
Yeah. It's so interesting because we expect so much of ourselves. We expect 100% all the time. And really what you're sharing is finding those small things that we can just hold on to.
Yes. And also evaluate what feels good to you. Because I think that is the underlying current, again, that you take through all these different holidays and season changes and vacations and what makes you feel good every day. And is that getting an hour more of sleep? Is that putting down the extra glass of wine? Is that more hydration? Is it actually going out with your girlfriends and letting it rip and have a blast? And yes, having too many drinks. Like, maybe that's the answer because it's fun and you're filling your cup up. It doesn't have to be so regimented and restricted. Like, have the fries with the salad, and this is kind of how we connected originally. I think it goes back to that idea of what are you ultimately looking for? And I think when you feel good and you wake up and you feel good, everything else is possible. You're in a better mood. You get more done at work. You're better to your partner, right? And you get through the holidays with a can-do attitude versus, oh, I'm just trying to get white knuckle my way through the day because I'm exhausted and I don't feel good.
Yeah, 1,000%. So let's talk through some of your strategies because, you've mentioned a couple already. I want to repeat, right? Starting our day with water, alkalizing, starting with protein. I think people are pretty clear on the start with the water piece.
Yeah.
Will you speak more about alkalizing and sort of being in an alkaline state versus an acidic one?
Yes. So growing up, I had a lot of health issues as you introduced, right? I had acid reflux, bloating, constant constipation. I was actually diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis with like really stiff joints, painful joints. And I learned after I got into wellness that everything that I was consuming in my day-to-day life was a form of sugar and very highly acidic foods. Cereal, sandwiches, processed granola bars, lots of pasta. I grew up in a big Italian family. I was born in 1982. So like packaged food was a thing. And so all of the different foods that I was consuming throughout the day, not only were they not super nourishing and full of micronutrients and alive, right? Like I think about food as dead and alive. There's a lot of dead food going on. Not a lot of salads and tons of green veggies and roasted broccoli and all these things that really help make your body feel good. And so I always struggled with inflammation and everything that I was consuming was acidic. So caffeine, dairy, sugar, anything processed in white, alcohol now as adults, like all of those things are acidic to the body. And so what I learned was the opposite is alkalizing or alkaline foods, green leafy dark veggies. And so I decided actually during COVID really was my inspiration for Alkalize because I'm a huge green juice person. And while I was kind of getting into this, like 2010, 11, I was walking around my production studios with big green juices and everyone's like, what are you drinking? It's like, I don't know, but I feel absolutely incredible after I drink this stuff. So much energy, it oxygenates your cells. It was this beautiful bright green color. And during COVID, nobody could get fresh green juice. Also, it's expensive. We don't know that it's organic. They probably put a lot of fruit in there. So Alkalize was my solve for that. Was we don't have enough vegetables. We usually wake up and we go straight to a coffee maker. So my ask was to change your morning behavior back, like a small little teeny step before coffee. And it's a big ask because a lot of people are going straight to the coffee without even water. So I was like, if we can just have some water, have a little alkalize, shoot it down, and then go back to coffee, it's a better morning. And so that really is the simple premise of alkalizing is you feel really good when you do it. It creates a little bit of an energy burst in the morning. It also really helps with digestion and bloating and also constipation.
Yeah. And then, so taking us through the day, right? We're
Yep.
starting with that water, alkalizing choices, the protein breakfast, which also helps on our drinking days. We'll talk more about alcohol in a second. But, you already mentioned not restricting, really enjoying those things. And I think some things that I know you and I both talk about, food sequencing and meal timing.
Mhm.
You want to share some strategies for that I think can really help people feel more in control and energized at this time of year too.
Absolutely. I think as a culture, like we put food on top of food on top of food on top of food. And then our systems are backed up. We feel sluggish. We actually might feel even more hungry from eating more often. And oftentimes when we're doing that, we're spiking our blood sugar. So we're starting off with something, carbohydrate rich in the morning or a lot of sugar and we spike and then we fall and then we spike and then we fall. And so you're sort of chasing this roller coaster all day long. Whereas if you just didn't wake up and spike your blood sugar and you coasted throughout the day, wow, like the food noises go away. We don't have hunger constantly throughout the day and things get a little bit easier. So that really is, I think, one of the biggest things that we drive home is to balance your blood sugar throughout the day and figure out how long you can go between meals. I always like to say 3 to 4 hours between meals. Eat not less, but less often. So eating more, less often, and allowing your body a decent amount of time where your digestion can settle and you can go between meals feeling very satisfied and not always thinking about, I'm not full. When am I going to get full again? Like, when is that going to happen? And it's a very, especially as women, like a very disempowering feeling to be hungry all the time.
Absolutely. And as you were saying before, there's this mindset piece. And I think feeling satisfied and energized and not at the whim of these blood sugar spikes and drops, we start to feel more in control and empowered.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I will say this for athletes that are listening, the glucose conversation is a little bit different. For people that are doing high intensity interval training or long distance running, you may need a little hit of glucose before you work out, and you're going to need a simple carbohydrate after that. So it's very specific to the individual. But generally speaking, as a culture, when I've been looking at behaviors for over 10 years, coaching people one on one, I've really discovered that we all sort of struggle with the same darn things. It's we wake up dehydrated, we have coffee. We usually start off our day without enough protein, and then we're kind of always hungry throughout the day. In the middle of the afternoon, around 4 o'clock, everyone reaches for a big cookie and a big coffee. And then by dinner time, we have not nearly packed our calories and nutrients in enough. So we overeat at dinner or we late night snack. And then I call it the pantry party. The pantry party starts to happen. And then the pantry party leads to the F it spiral of like, oh, well, whatever. I'm just going to have chips and then have this and then cereal. And then all of a sudden you wake up with a food hangover because you just didn't eat enough throughout the day.
1,000%. And then it ends up and it's that spiral. And, like you, I call it the fuck it's, right? And we get to this place of like, yeah,
right. And
exactly.
you get in your head. And again, it's just so disempowering. If you really were to think about fueling your body like you are a car, we are going to the gas station and we've got to put the right gas in. And there is time for like fun gas too. Right? There is time for that, but I think you need to do your homework around the fun time so that you can feel good on the other side of it. I just think there's no like magic bullet to, oh, I'm going to drink a bunch of alcohol and have a bunch of the desserts that are out and then wake up feeling amazing. You need to eat protein before, hit your mini meal, come home, take a mineral supplement. We have Restore, get a great night's sleep, and rinse and repeat.
Absolutely. So I want to talk more about some of those indulgent pieces and
Sure.
creating some guidelines around that. Really quick, let's pause to highlight our partner for this episode.
Okay.
You know that feeling when wellness just feels too loud? Every headline says something different. Every influencer has a new rule. And somehow you're left wondering if you're the problem. Well, spoiler, you're not. You've just been given broken tools. That's why I wrote Uncomplicating Wellness. Ditch the rules, quiet the noise, reclaim your life. It's not another plan to follow. It's a guide to finally filter the noise and trust yourself again. The book is science, sanity, and the real foundation for feeling your best without obsession, without guilt, and without burnout. If you've ever wondered or wished wellness could just be simple, easy, and effortless, this book is for you. Find Uncomplicating Wellness wherever books are sold or text the word book, BOOK, to 833-801-0500 to learn more with a clickable link. Again, you can text the word book, BOOK, to 833-801-0500. Let's move from exhaustion to clarity, from fear to discernment, and from chasing healthy to truly feeling well on your own terms. Okay, Sarah, let's talk about the alcohol first. So you have some guidelines that you offer people around alcohol. Actually, it's funny. I was out to dinner this weekend and someone said to me, well, really, how much alcohol can we drink? And I kind of just held up my hand in like, a zero.
Yeah.
And she was so distraught about it. But the truth is, right, it's not adding to our health. And we all live in the world. The irony was that I was having a glass of wine as we were having this conversation. So you often give the guideline of 5 drinks a week.
I would say like pick your number is step one.
Yeah.
Right. If you're drinking 10, maybe we want to go for 7. If you're drinking 7, maybe we want to go for 4. And I like to give you a real clear picture of what your life is like with no alcohol. So what does Sunday through Wednesday feel like with nothing? And I just want you to notice, how's your sleep? How's your mood? How are your hunger cues? How are your workouts? How are your jeans fitting? All these fun things that happen when you kind of kick it to the curb. And then consolidate your drinking days. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday. And then within that, you're picking your number. And I think there will be some times where you go out and you possibly will have a mocktail, or possibly you indulge in like a can or one of these different sodas that are out now with a little bit of THC and CBD, which I predict and I'm hoping within like the next year or so, those are available at bars. Because I think a lot of people are moving towards like anti-alcohol. And I think it's because everyone wants to feel good. And I think especially like the new generation, I work with a lot of young women that they're just like, I don't want to drink. So I think that's my advice always, is to consolidate your drinking days, pick your number. And then I always go for a clean tequila. Like mine would be a tequila on the rocks. I shake it with fresh lime juice and just super clean, no sugar, ice cold. I only need 1 drink to feel completely excited because I don't drink that much.
Yes.
So then I'm like, woo! My husband's like, here we go. And then I'm like, let's go out. And she's like, she's going to be asleep in an hour.
Right. But I think, what you're pointing out too, of having those 4 consecutive days of no alcohol or 5 days of no alcohol to really notice how different you feel.
Yes.
And then it becomes a choice rather than, I think, often people feel the FOMO.
Right.
Well, our generation maybe feels the FOMO, right? Like, I don't think, Gen
you mean
Z
of
does.
not,
Yeah.
you mean of not drinking?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm very used to going out a lot and being the only person not drinking. And I've just gotten used to it also because I'm at a point in my life where I don't really even have time to get drunk.
Right.
And I definitely don't have time to be hungover. And I also don't enjoy alcohol, like the taste enough to come home and savor like a glass of wine or something like that. That's just me. But I think a lot of people are still, those that are drinking to like feel something from it.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm also thinking about, this time of year, we've talked about enjoying the indulgences and having the things, that food timing, starting our day with protein. How else can we help people sort of plan for and truly enjoy the pie so that it doesn't come with all the guilt or the cookies
Yeah.
or whatever it is?
Yeah. Just stack your nutrition throughout the day before the indulgence. I think typically the indulgence comes in the evening, right? So make sure that you are having protein, fat, and fiber, like that trifecta, blood sugar balancing throughout the day. So that by the time you get to the pie, you've consumed the majority of your nutrients and nutrition for the day. And now you're going to have some pie following something that's protein forward, right? And so if you have the pie on empty, you're going to certainly feel that sugar spike and that sugar drop. Whereas if you have veggies and protein and your pie is the last thing, it's that meal sequencing is brilliant because it just blunts that blood sugar spike and you don't feel that feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall asleep after this pie. I mean, this is what you and I were talking about earlier, you
Yeah,
know? It's actually like such a smart hack and you can still have the pie. You just don't have it on empty.
exactly.
Yeah.
So let's say somebody, right, they're hearing everything and they're like, look, I really like this idea of where we started in terms of connecting over things that aren't the big meal and the drinks and all of that stuff. What are some of the ways that you can help us give everybody some of the language to suggest those alternative plans, and start to move the conversation that way? Because I think sometimes, even if it's not now in the holidays, but in the new year, to say to everybody, you know, anybody up for something else?
Right. And are you speaking specifically about alcohol?
Anything, right? Whether it's happy hour or big dinners or whatever it might be, to start to connect over other activities.
Yeah. Well, I think it's daytime versus nighttime. I think that it's doing things or it's a nighttime workout or I mean, everyone's really into weighted vests. Like you could do a weighted vest date walk. One of my favorite dates with Chris is like coffee. We'll do that over going out to dinner and having some drinks just because we're both way more alert and together in the morning, having two kids and working full time. It's just like a better when are you at your best? And then trying to connect with people around that schedule. But I think movement is an awesome way because whether it's a class or a walk, you are connecting with somebody over something you're doing together. And it creates a bond that, you can't really, I would imagine it's like the golf course, right? It's like, oh, we're both on the same hole together and it's a little bit of a connection. I went to Orange Theory the other morning and I like got up for the early class. It was Saturday and I was like, all right, I'm going to get up, I'm going to get after it, fill up my cup a little bit before being a mom and a wife all weekend. And I got there and the guy next to me on the treadmill, we're just starting to jog. The guy next to me on the treadmill, you could just tell he was like really intense. And I was like, I kind of pumped up about it because I was like, maybe he's going to push me a little. And the instructor comes in and the instructor is not intense. The instructor it's the day after Halloween. Like, nope, if he actually went to sleep. He has an accent that's really heavy. So I'm trying to like follow what he's saying. And he's like, okay, guys, so here we're going to do this thing. And I'm going to give everybody a card. And I'm like, okay. I was looking at the guy, the intense guy, I'm like, what's this guy going to do? He didn't want to talk us through the workout. He gave us a card. And he's like, you follow. If you want to go all out, you go right. When you base pace, you go left. And I'm like, wait a minute. I came to Orange Theory so someone could yell at me and tell me what to do. So I
100%.
didn't
I'm
have
with
to
you.
think about that because all I do is think about things that I need to do. I'm paying you and it's still dark out so that we can get after it and I don't have to think. And the guy next to me looks at me and goes, what the hell? I was like, I don't even know. And my point is, by the end of this workout, me and guy to my right, we had this whole connection going. We were fist bumping. I was like, I don't know, should we speed up? He's like, yeah, let's go. Like, so we created this bond together, dark at 7 a.m, and he kept being like over the chum. I was like, you wanted to do this. And I'm like, I sure did. He's like, you're here, 7 a.m. And my point is, it created this really cool connection. We didn't know each other's names. We didn't sit down and talk. We had a workout at the same time in the same location at like kind of a painful time in the morning and we got through it together. And I think that is what wellness is all about and connection is all about. I think it should be based around that empowerment. It's just whether it's even shopping, like, hey, do these jeans look good? Connecting with somebody in a way that does not have to be around drinking alcohol.
Yeah. It's ultimately how we feel and how we make other people feel.
Correct. It is. It's actually just so, so simple. And I think we drink alcohol because we want to change the way that we feel. So whenever I want to drink alcohol, it's because I'm not feeling great. Tired, I'm frustrated. I'm like, ugh, the kids are really hard today. I'm already exhausted. Like, let's just, I can't sleep. Maybe this will help me. It's not like I'm drinking because I'm like, oh, I feel awesome, for me at least.
Yeah.
And so, what if you didn't have to change the way that you felt with alcohol, but you changed the way that you felt by adopting some simple steps throughout the day that made you feel good? Simple, like fueling your body and alkalizing and protein and hydration and movement and getting steps in and sleeping better. I love data because it tells me everything going on. And sometimes I'll take it off because it makes me crazy, but I still know I'm like, okay, this is a incredible day because I fueled myself yesterday and I managed my stress and I got fresh air and my heart rate variability is up. My resting heart rate is down. And boy, I only slept for 6 hours, but 3.5 of that is restorative. And that's why I feel good.
Exactly. I think that's a really nice place to sort of bookend this as far as really feeling empowered around the holidays, that it's not happening to us. We can.
Yeah, just make the choice. Wake up and make the choice to feel good every day. And what does that mean to you? Does it mean drinks? It sure could. Does it mean a fun, boozy brunch with your friends? Does it mean a really great weighted vest walk? Does it mean a workout? Is it painting and coloring with your kids? Yesterday, I made the most horrible looking gingerbread house with pounds and pounds of marshmallows and sugar all over it. But it was so fun to do that with my daughter. And like for an hour and a half, we focused on that. And that was such a great way to connect with her and be creative and not be healthy. She's like, this is not healthy, right? I go, no, isn't it awesome? No, it's not healthy and it doesn't have to be. I think that's the approach.
I love it. So cute. All right. That brings us to our rapid fire off topic questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. What's the best thing you've done for your health this week? What's the naughtiest thing you've done related to your health this week? Not that anything's really naughty, but it's like the salad and fries of your week, if you will.
Okay. Best thing I've done for my health was Saturday morning. I went to bed early Friday. Saturday morning, I woke up and I really challenged myself with a Tabata workout on the treadmill. And I'm always like trying to PR and get personal records. And I got a PR and I'm competitive with myself. So that was really fun. And I also felt incredible. And I was done with my workout by 7:15 in the morning. So that felt really good. I was able to come upstairs and be fully present for my kids and Chris. Naughtiest thing? Okay, well, so yesterday during the gingerbread making, I definitely ate, like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I love Snickers. I'm like, small little Snickers, and I definitely had not eaten well enough before. So I was flying high on sugar and I was really hungry in the afternoon. I'm like, well, I know why, because my blood sugar's dipping. At least I know what's happening.
Exactly. Awesome. All right. If you weren't the founder of Sarah Wragge Wellness, what would you do?
Oh, you know what? I would be a psychiatrist.
Yeah, I could see.
I would go back to school and study the brain and understand what the brain is doing and work with people that way because I love therapy and I love digging and I just find it would be very fascinating for me to be able to help people that way.
I'm with you. All right, your favorite book on any topic other than your area of expertise, or you can give us a fiction book.
So the book that I'm reading right now that I am fascinated with is Jennifer Fisher's Gut Health book because it's also a cookbook and it tells her story and you would really resonate with her story. And I really love her approach to how she cooks and also how she thinks about food and how simple it is. And for me, those types of recipes are everything to be able to put good meals on the table for my family. So that's what I'm currently reading and I'm currently into is I love actually reading cookbooks because there's a lot of story behind it too.
Yeah. All right, if you could cure one ailment, disease, or sickness, what would it be?
You know what? I would say cancer because so many people I know are getting cancer, but I think I'm going to say like Alzheimer's and dementia because I don't know if again, I feel like I'm hearing a lot about people right now getting diagnosed, and I just don't know if there's a worse scenario where you're there but not there.
For
So I
sure.
would love to like wave a magic wand. And I think diet has a lot to do with that.
For sure. Type 3 diabetes.
Type 3 diabetes. I think you can really choose to make better choices early on to affect that scenario.
Absolutely. If you were a superhero, what would be your superpower?
I would definitely fly because then I could get to places faster because I always need to be there earlier than I am.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh my God. When people talk about something they're frustrated with and they don't do anything about it. And there's a lot of
Yes.
there's a lot of conversation over and over and over about something's not working and they don't take action. That is my pet peeve.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right, last one. In your opinion, what's the next frontier in wellness?
I think that people are super focused on protein right now and all of the macronutrients, like how much protein are you getting? What are your fat numbers? I think that micronutrients and fiber are going to become a larger part of the conversation, specifically fiber, because I think a lot of people are not indulging. A lot of people are taking GLPs right now and they're focusing on the surface level nutrition. And what's happening is malnourishment and bone density loss and muscle wasting because they're not getting all the other stuff. They're just trying to get food down because they're not as hungry and they might not feel as good. And so I think like we've forgotten about an entire category of food and all the like little things that make you feel great. So I think fiber and micronutrients is going to be the next like big Instagram, TikTok craze that we see.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I'm already seeing it too. Yeah, agreed. Well, Sarah Wragge, thank you so much for being here. Tell everybody how to connect with you, where to learn more about you and all of your products and everything.
Yes. So the website is my name, sarahwragge.com, WRAGGE.com. And then Instagram is at Sarah Wragge Wellness. We have a online group coaching program that launches January 20th. And we have hundreds of women all over the country join. We do lectures. We give you a coach. We write out a program for you. And we support you through the beginning of the new year. All the products are available on the website and on our Instagram shop page. That's it.
Awesome. We'll put links to everything in the episode notes for everybody too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time and energy and just how aligned we are too. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, on Friday, friends, in this week's bite-sized bonus episode, we're talking about mosh bars. So my mom asked me about them because she said they were promoted by like the Kennedy family or something. I don't know. I'm not sure if they created them. Anyway, as I do, I added them to our list for all of us to take a look at them together. So that will be this Friday in our bite-sized bonus episode. Be sure wherever you're listening, click the plus sign or the follow button, and then your app will alert you when it goes live. Well, as always, everybody, I'm your host, Jenn Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram or all social media. I am at Jenn Trepeck, JENNTREPECK. Website is asaladwithasideofries.com. Pick your platform, send a message. I love hearing from you, your ideas, your takeaways, your questions. This is also the easiest way to learn more about working with me as your health coach. Sarah Wragge, thank you. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. So nice to see you, Jen.
You too. We'll talk soon. And friend, if you are not already, join us in the Happy Healthy Hub. You'll go to asaladwithasideofries.com/membership. This shows your support for this podcast, this community, and of course, your health. On top of this week's episode in full video with behind the scenes content, you'll get 24/7 Ask Me Anything access and this week's recipe for the roasted cauliflower with kale. So until next week, remember, connecting with others is all about how we feel, which may or may not require an alcoholic beverage or special foods. So we can move away from having fear of having fun, away from feeling like the holidays are happening to us, and move into a place of empowered health choices. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.